What's good, everybody? What's going on, man? It's Stephen Qualls II, aka Mr. Qualified. It's your boy, and we're back for another episode of the Wright Quality Podcast. Friends, co-host, y'all know the drill. Let the people know.
Ashley Wright, numero uno.
Ganger.
Tell him. Shouts
Yeah.
Miguel, Latin League individual. Forgot we didn't even touch base. Oh yeah, we could save that though.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It was
Coming later.
Latin League update. Yeah, that's the end of the pod. Stick around.
Right. So this past weekend was, I don't know what number we're on. I don't know what All-Star weekend or All-Star game this is.
70-something, right?
73?
73?
I think it was 3.
73? That makes sense.
Yeah.
73rd All-Star weekend. This past weekend, I did not catch a lot of the events, and I also am not upset that I didn't catch a lot of the events, but I know that you all did indulge. So, as scary as it might be today, fans, we're gonna let Miguel kind of run this All-Star weekend here, but yeah, let's see what this journey is. Go ahead, Gil.
Hey, man, first of all, do we feel bad for Kai? Because I kind of do. We didn't even touch on that, but Celebrity Game started us off. I low-key felt bad for the man. That post-game image, he looks low-key sad. And he was the one bringing in all the kids to watch it. So, I mean, did y'all peep the memes that came from the Micah Parsons MVP game?
Yeah.
What do we all think of that discourse, that debacle?
Was it a debacle?
Yeah,
I mean, on my end of Twitter, where there's more Gen Zers that talk about, they're like, you know what? Why'd I tune in? I kind of only watch this for Kai, and they iced my man. They had him doing jumping jacks at the block. Micah Parsons airball in a 40-footer. Like, come on now.
Fair, isn't he like what 5'4"?
5'4" against those kids. He was looking brolic. He was looking big.
Yeah. Shannon, he came out and stated his game plan was to give Micah Parsons the ball. He said, "You're 6'3", 250, go." Like he said, nobody wants to get in front of you, and that was the game plan. That's exactly what they did. He had 37. That's crazy.
That's insane.
League him.
The fact
he's got to be just as physical as Draymond.
Big Baby Davis part 2. I feel like
literally is what that would be.
All right, well, we'll skip past that Celebrity All-Star game. You know, it was pretty smooth. But then the Rising Stars Challenge, my favorite part of the week, we saw some drama. Wemby's team got put out first round, and I don't think anyone saw that coming.
2 rounds now?
Yes, there's 2 rounds. So first game's to 40 each team, and then final round, it's a game to 25. So that first round, Chet's team handled business, and then I think everyone kind of was, you know, they're like, the Chet Wemby final. This is what we can't wait for. But no. Wisconsin had something to say about that. Alondis Williams. Let me get his name right. I'm 90% sure that is my man's name. Wisconsin product, Tyrese Halliburton, let me know. But my man was getting buckets that game. He was kind of all over the court, diming, playing D, like hitting some tough shots. Like they were moving. Those games were really competitive. I think that's probably the best game that we're going to get during All-Star Weekend, where guys actually have something to play for. That G League Ignite squad came out and popped Wemby's team. Like they handled business, and like Powell was sitting there actually stressing, coaching. He's like, guys, like we gotta step it up. Like we are the first round picks. It's Casey Wallace, it's Podzinski, it's Victor, and like we're getting popped by some people that want to be in the league. Like we got to do something. So I thought that drama was very nice. But actually, since I know that you probably caught it, what did you take from that?
Yeah, Wemby's team definitely came out like it was going to be sweet, like 100%. Against those G Leaguers. And obviously, the G Leaguers, they're on a stage where typically they don't get to play against NBA talent. You know, they're playing against other people that are grinding for that opportunity. So they came out like it was a real game. And I love to see that. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much my takeaway from it. I know Powell's probably pissed that they came out like that. Oh, I would have been too, but I was watching like, what the heck is this? What is going on? Because I also thought it was going to be a Wimby Chet final, and oh, that would have been so juicy. I love that rivalry.
I know.
I love it. But yeah, it was disappointing, but I was happy for the G Leaguers, of course.
Yeah, I still think like it made for a good final. Like regardless, like of it being Chet Wemby, I still think it was better than what we got Sunday. But
Mhm.
we'll get there in due time.
Oh, and I also really liked seeing Jalen Rose. That was cool. I liked seeing the way he was coaching. He did a really good job.
To note that getting to the championship game, he said we can go out here and each leave heroes with 100,000, or you can go home broke.
Yep.
Like it was pretty nice seeing him, in that put that coach's hat on and just kind of and mentoring some of those young bucks that let them know like this is one of those moments. Like I know that y'all want to shine in this league. This is that first step that you have to take. So it's cool seeing them get their chance out there and like really get to hoop. It's those are the guys that I think really feel like, oh, there's not a lot to lose. Injuries or injuries, like, but I'm gonna go out there and like showcase my best stuff. So, Steve, what do you think that just for future reference, like, what do you think they can incorporate from this Rising Stars format that some of the guys at the All-Star Game Sunday could take? Do you think a multi-team format would help? A couple shorter games that lead up to a bigger one?
It might, but I think the issue at like the All-Star game level is they're just all too big for the most part. Like as that discourse has started, I mean, in the last couple of years, but definitely after yesterday, I guess it kind of makes sense because there's no way you can make this game relevant to them. There's no way possible. They're in a dead like center almost just about of the season. Everybody knows that the postseason matters, so every player and team is trying to be as healthy and as prepared for the postseason. So it's just like I don't think there's anything you can do to make a game in February enticing for the players. Like there's no real true incentive that outweighs the incentive of playing the June. So
Yep.
I think that's where they're stuck. Now I do feel like there was a point in time where it was seen as like the world's like best pickup game, and we used to see it at the end of games. I think in the last couple of years that hasn't been the case, and I don't know. I guess for it to be a close game at the end, it would have to be somewhat competitive all the way throughout, and that's just not how the game is set up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you put pride into this situation when it's already just them being celebrated for their accomplishments thus far, and it's supposed to be a fun thing. So I don't know. I don't know. But I do think if you kind of have shorter games that might help, but you still have to have them buy in for a all-star in-season tournament, basically.
Yes, and we already have that too. So speaking of little tidbit, we might have something for that for Miguel Monday that poses a question, but that's for a different day. So that concludes Friday. Obviously, Chet and company came home with the dub. Saturday, though, the big night where everyone was ready to watch, the skills competition, the dunk competition. I am lying. It was only the 3-pointers. It was literally just the 3-point competition and Sabrina versus Steph. Those were the two times that I think everyone was only excited. But let's, dip our toes in the skills challenge. Some funny moments. I think, Scotty Barnes steals the show once again, shows us why he is the face of the league, whether it's the comedic face or truly the talented face. He's at All-Star Weekend and he's making a splash online. So what do you guys think about the skills competition in general, like the format and everything of it right now?
Yeah, I liked the change, especially with like the different passes you can do. It was as exciting, I feel like, as it could get.
Fair. Walls.
Yeah. I can't say replace it because I don't know what you really could replace it with. And it's not that it needs to be replaced. It's just what could make it more interesting. Like I feel like, okay, it's a skills challenge. We know y'all gonna make some passes, show that y'all got some actual skill ability. Put that on display. But I don't know. Like I don't have a problem with it, but it would be nice to see them add something extra to make it like worthwhile. Like I don't think there should be like you can have a balance of events on Saturday night, but if you can make every event interesting in its own way, I feel like that would make the most sense and give the fans the most pleasure. So I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's hard to have a definitive answer for that.
Personally, I think that the D Wade era, the Darren Williams era, where they got to like actually go 1v1, but I think they kind of had the perfect concept when Jokic won it, I believe, when they had two guys go side by side each round, and then we can kind of see out. But the drama plays out a lot better. I feel like this one, if it weren't for these past 2 years going to the half court shot, I think it'd be a pretty anticlimactic end with it being like, oh, this team has the most points. They're the champion. Like it's kind of, just filler just to get us to the meat of it. So I think if anything, go back to those old days where guys are flying through a course, it's guys playing for a timer. I think guys playing for that record was kind of the deal back in the day, but we switched up and now we're kind of going more team concept. That's at least what I think. I think they should go back to more of that 1v1 style because I think, if anything, the endings just are a lot better.
What if you do? Oh, go ahead.
Oh my bad. Go ahead, Ashley. I'll remember.
What if you do like a game of knockout or around the world or something like that?
Two ball.
Play two ball. Play two ball.
It's like it's right there. It's right there. It's just like basketball stuff. Like one good hustle. Throw all like not even the all-stars. Get like Pat Bev, PJ Tucker, like just a bunch of chuckers and hackers, Draymond, all in one big hustle. I think that'd be cool.
That'd be crazy.
Like someone might die, but I mean it's good TV. Like
no, we gotta do the Hood All-Star Weekend. We gotta plan that out, Gail.
Cage ball. Yep.
Cage ball? Oh, absolutely.
Come on now.
Bro. Hey, you know what they should incorporate that don't include the players for All-Star Weekend? I'll promise you if they got a slam ball game at All-Star Weekend, that shit's gonna go up. Oh my goodness.
Nuts. See, okay, all right. My last one. I think instead, PJ Tucker, Pat Bev, that's great. Let's incorporate the cage with like a 15-person hustle. No fouls, no nothing. All G League players. Whoever wins gets a guaranteed spot in the league for the rest of the year. Mac McClung might not lose. He's going to be balling his heart out. Every tip, he's going to be tipping everybody to zero every single time. And just help. I think that might be that's a little Squid Gamesy, but I think we're on to something. It's a little bit more vibrant.
Yeah, no, that's low key fire, girl. Yeah, that's what's
Amen. Say man. Call me Adam Silver. Call me. Got a bit more hair, more melanin, but we tandem. All right, anyways. Okay, so that dealt with the skills challenge. Obviously, every year it feels like the home team wins that. Like it is like certainly AstroTurf. They gave Trae Young, Scotty Barnes, and Tyrese Maxey. Like they were not winning that. And then I don't think Ant you saw what Ant was doing. Wemby's just there to, be a circus act. Just stand there, be tall. So we got to see what we saw. But 3-point competition. The real competition, I feel like. Everyone is really just there to see this modern day NBA. Like it's really the league of shooters now. So you got Cat out there, his big ass still and said it. He's got a 3-point competition shot. Like it's that beautiful set shot, no jump, no nothing. Tyrese, hometown kid, put up 31 last year. No. So you knew that he was going to come back in with a vengeance. Dame returning champ. And then that last final slot went to who for the finals? Because Tyrese ended up missing out. So you ended up having Cat, Dame. There was one other person that ended up with 26 that first round.
Trae.
I'm pissed because I knew it.
Trae. It was Trae. And he deserved to be there too. I mean, like that seems like it would be that final three. Dame, Cat, and Trae. Tyrese was off by like a hair.
One issue with the 3-point contest, I wanted one more round. I wanted a 1v1 round, like with the top two. Would that help?
I think so at the same time. Two
Yeah,
different sides.
maybe. That would have been cool.
Yes.
Especially with how they have the LED court. I think that
Yeah.
would have been cool.
And I heard my friend say possibly throw the winner of Steph Sabrina against a champion. Just to
Oh, that
spice
would have
it
been
up a little
perfect.
bit more.
So with the Steph Sabrina thing, are we just gonna find two shooters? Like it's gonna always be a WNBA player? Is it gonna be some type of like influencer next? Like how are we gonna determine who's gonna do this additional shootout if it is gonna be a yearly thing?
Right, because honestly speaking, I mean, the W does have some pretty good shooters. I know people were calling for Caitlin Clark next year, maybe, if she decides to come out. But it's like, what, Caitlin versus Trey? Like, who else? How else would you get the hype of Sabrina and Steph? Like, those are two of the biggest shooters in their respective leagues.
So, not to fast forward, but let's talk Sabrina Steph. We already know who came out on top. He got his swagger back. Damian Lillard iced the competition. Waited until that last shot to just be like, it is Dame time.
Yeah.
Even though Giannis was missing his watch while
Mhm.
simultaneously pointing like this as well. It's more, he's just there to get it back. But Dame won the 3-point competition. That was beautiful. On to Sabrina Steph. I think that was truly the highlight of the night. They did say after the comp that next year they're looking to have Sabrina and Steph still again, but then they'd bring a friend of their choice to compete. So that's where they're saying that might be Caitlin. It could be Clay for Steph, or Steph might bring, whatever best shooters in the league at that point, which I think possibly seeing him and Dame go at it against whoever would be pretty fun. But
so is it a team? Would it be a team score then?
Good question.
That's what they're talking about. Yes.
Honestly, just have them play 2-ball.
That part.
Yeah.
But then they have to go back like 3 or 4 times. The game might be done in 10 shots. So have them go back and forth. They have to hit a shot. They have to go corner to corner. How about that? Get some legs in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sabrina Steph, that was actually really, really fun. Only thing I would say is that like it's our house. Let's have Steph start, set the bar, and Sabrina's got to go back and match it.
Yeah. I would have loved
only
to see
qualm.
Steph go first. Yep, I would have loved to see Steph go first, and then I would have liked to see best 2 out of 3 or something. Like
Right?
one
It's
round
like
is crazy.
a little short.
Yeah.
Like set the mark, and then like Steph is gonna see that and be like, all right, yeah.
Mhm.
Is there another way to make, like, if Steph versus Sabrina is going to be the thing, if that's going to be the draw, right? What's another way to, what's the way to create a different 3-point contest? Like instead of them doing what you would do in a 3-point contest, and they maybe were set up a little bit differently. I'm assuming it was probably a little bit different, or was it the racks were the same?
Same setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's find a different way. Give them some different shots. Like, let's find a way to make it a different event. I think that could be something. Even though I didn't see it, I'm pretty sure it was great. But I think to separate it or to keep the hype around it, you got to find, if you're gonna have 2 of the greatest shooters, you got to find a way to maximize what that display could be.
So I know that they have the starry balls in there. Maybe like a half court element to it. Something like from true distance.
Pre-pause. I'm not even gonna say it. I had the thought. Yeah, don't worry. Anyways, don't worry, Steve. Don't look me crazy. It was.
You said pre-pause, bro. Like, what are you about to say?
Because they had the starry balls. So then I was gonna say they were competing, but then it gets a little egregious when you mention one of them. So I pre-pause. Anyways, fans get the gist. Fans are with me. We are in line.
Host or not? I don't understand.
Oh, yep. We thank y'all. So with that being said, just like me, just like right now, a host that's just doing a lot. In that moment, as the competition's done, Kenny, there's a lot of dialogue over, what he was saying throughout the competition when it was done. Question. Qualls.
Yes, I don't know exactly what he said. I saw that there was discourse about it, but what are some of the direct quotes?
So it starts back into the 3-point competition. Like he was, when Kenny has the floor, also like me, just kind of talks what's on his mind. But sometimes it's just like, what is the end goal here? Like you're talking like Lori's going up to shoot. Lori Markin was in 3-point competition too. Does his thing, or like in the midst of it, just talking about him, just like, hey, this guy is not a number one on your team. If I'm an NBA GM, I don't know if I trust him. Like oh, okay, cool. Like
That's so
I know talking basketball, it's an NBA broadcast. I get that. Time and place though. This man's at the All-Star game. Like I understand like we're still gonna talk like what's happening in the league and all this, but like, all right, cool. Now we're just, throwing salt at my man Lori, just like, hey, this guy, I don't want to trust him around my team. I don't know about you, Utah, but hey, do you? Just like, it's a time to just kind of be a little bit lighter, live on the brighter side of things. So then we carry over into the Sabrina Steph matchup. And, he's been jawing a little bit as to, Sabrina should have stayed at her line. She should have shot from the WNBA line. And Reggie's sitting there like, hey, man, like, she said she wanted to shoot from there. And, like, she got the same score as the champions from the men's run. So it's like, she wanted to, like, equal the playing field. And then Kenny is going to one up and be like, all right, tell her to shoot with the man's ball. Tell her to shoot with ours. It's like, hey, yo, this is about equality, bro. Like, this is Black History Month. Like, what are we trying to do here? Like, it just felt very, very off. Like, it doesn't seem like, the typical Kenny the Jet. It was very anti for some reason. I wanted to get y'all's opinion on, just what the discourse was for the night.
I mean, I was sitting there like, what am I listening to? Number one, like I thought we were progressing, but maybe not.
Right.
The fact that Reggie had to, like, he emphasized on multiple occasions she wanted to shoot from the men's line, like, and that's where she pulls from anyway in a women's game. Like, seriously, she pull from men's, like, a men's 3-pointer line. I think as long as she was, obviously the diameter of a women's ball is different. As long as she was comfortable, shooting with the women's ball from that deep, why does it matter to Kenny? I don't know. Maybe he wanted her to win. Maybe he was secretly rooting for her and felt like she would have had the advantage if she was shooting from a women's line and could have pulled it out. I don't know. I'm going to choose to think that, because if I feel like he thought that, then it's less malicious for me.
That is fair. And I think there was another comment. Yeah, just like the initial comment, be like, oh yeah, like the men versus women, like battle. I'm just like, like, I think you're missing the point of why this was done. I don't think that was necessarily what they were going for, Kenny. But, he just kind of took it and ran with it. So I was just, I just thought that was an interesting tidbit by the inside crew, or him specifically.
That's crazy. That's actually pretty wild to say on the live broadcast. That's Mark Jackson level crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
We'll get to Chuck. We'll get to Chuck and Draymond at the end.
They were wilding too.
hey, yo, you know what? Let's touch on it. Because they were wilding. Because first of all, I'm not, not a fan of the statements that Chuck said per se, but in the moment, in what its response to, I'm down for it. Like every other time, being like, oh yeah, we got to walk through San Francisco and get robbed by some homeless crooks. I think, we can get into why that discourse is problematic in that moment. In response to Draymond being like, hey, could we never come back to Indiana again? I think it's a solid clapback. Because, hey, that's us. That's us in the future. That's our all-star game that they're like, can we never come back to Milwaukee again? Like, dude, you're from Detroit. Like, what are you really yapping about, Draymond? Like, you've seen this weather. Like, I get it. You live in San Francisco now. Your crusty toes are out in the air. But to come back to the grit and grind and live with the Midwesterners for a little bit. I get it's Indiana. And, but what Vince Staples said, that's grandma's house. You got to pay your respects. It's the basketball motherland. So it's like, go to your Indianas, go to your Milwaukees. Indiana, was James Naismith not from Indiana? And why am I getting this incredulous look?
I thought he was from Massachusetts.
But Massachusetts.
But
the game.
Would Indiana be considered the basketball motherland? Would that not be?
It's the land of basketball, though.
It is. Right. It's in the conversation for sure.
Sorry, James Naismith from Massachusetts. That's a deep, good, great call. Because yes, I'm wrong on my geography of where he was born, but I know that it's a Hoosier thing, whatever. I don't get it, but like I remember going to a tournament down there. They had a field house of like
Yeah.
20 hoops just
Yeah.
horizontally, and I'm like, I ain't never seen it like this. Just a game has like 8 and a bunch of dairy ads.
The university's rec center is crazy. Like
random. Well, it's not super random, but very interesting question that has come from this conversation.
Continue.
Does Indiana have a richer basketball history than New York?
I thought you were gonna say Chicago because
Chicago was also on my mind.
Yeah,
Chicago
it's so
was also
hard
on
to
my mind.
say. It's because what they got Oscar Robertson, they got
Larry,
they got Jaden
Eric
Ivey.
Gordon.
Yep. George Hill, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, George, I believe. Yeah.
Those like recent names. I can only imagine like back in the day, like who.
I don't know if you're using New York and Chicago, I don't know if the player list will compare just because of how many players have came out of both of those cities. But I think the history of like the game of basketball, though, like I think Indiana might have a shot. That's why I made the face. That's why I made the face because my first thought would have been, well, what about New York or what about Chicago? But depending on the context you're looking at it through, I mean, Indy's definitely up there from the standpoint of what basketball means and what it means to basketball, really.
I think to answer that, I think historically Indiana will have that for like the game of basketball. I think for the game of street ball, New York will have done more than anyone else. I mean, they made Sebastian Telfair a star. Like, and I say Chicago in terms of like just like modern day like great NBA players. I think since Larry on, because I mean they have like the history of basketball, the Big O and Larry, and then from there you get Isaiah Thomas. Then you're getting like like then Chicago is getting deep. You got D Rose, you got like countless names that you could throw into that fold. So it's like they each play like like something different, but into the same sort of like melting pot. Same with LA. Like LA has like the superstars that have came out of there. Like every spot has something new. Like Wisconsin now is like starting to be one of those spots. Tyrese said, "Hey, it's low key, but kind of is."
Then throw St. Louis in there.
Yeah, St. Louis. Come on, why not? They give me some Hoopers in there.
Why not? if there's a grassroots level of that like pyramid you're describing, then yeah, I think Milwaukee and St. Louis currently are like right there. Like they're producing really good products that are making their way into the league now.
Like if I could put it into a comparison, like Indiana to basketball is what Texas is to football.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Yep.
Completely agree.
Just like factories of it. It might not make like, everything, but like good fundamental forward brand, American driven. You get it. You get the MO. So Chuck talking spicy to Draymond. That's how we led here. Like that tangent though. That's a nice tangent. But yeah, like the commentary during the All-Star weekend was crazy. I wish it could have been enough to distract us from what was the dunk competition. But shouts out Mac McClung saving Black History Month once again. Jaylen Brown. I think every call. Every call of mine almost spot on? Did I say he's gonna do?
I didn't see the dunks.
I'm saying the last like Wright Quallity. I swore I said he was gonna do a Black History Month like play.
You did say that. You did.
And he damn near gave us that. I said a left-hand dunk would be a 50. He went out with a white glove and dunked him. All right, let's
the purpose of the glove?
Let's get there. That's the last dunk that we have to talk about. But let's start with the giant flub that was the first judging of Mac McClung's dunk.
Oh my goodness!
Was that the toss Put back.
Yes.
He did a dunk where he let go of the ball over a human that he had just jumped over his head and then reversed it. Granted, the first one he had just clipped, and I think the miss made it more impressive because it gave you time to really see like this man is trying to do something stupid. And Darnell Hillman has the gall to give that man a 46 after seeing a dunk that's never been done in dunk competition history. My man, pack it up. What are we watching? I think that set the tone because I don't think it was as ass as we said it was, but I think the judging also made it very mid. Like,
No,
it,
yeah.
it was like to see something like that and to see it get not rewarded was just insane to me. Like Jacob Toppin with the same kind of treatment.
I heard he had a
360.
crazy dunk. I heard he had a crazy
Granted,
dunk.
like we've seen it, but like it's a very high degree difficulty dunk. They're gonna give that man 47s.
What was the dunk?
360 East Bay wrap dunk. It was something intricate. It was better than what Jaylen Brown had did the entire first round.
Yeah.
Also, Kenny the Jet being like, why is Jaime Jaquez what's with the Mexican stuff? Like, dog, like you're so close to getting it. And then Jaylen Brown comes out, he's like, hey, this is a nice tribute. I'm like, you're so close, Kenny. Like, hilarious. Jaylen Brown jumps over Kai Cenat.
Why? In a chair at that.
In a chair with Jaylen Brown. Gave us the best clip. Jason Tatum, yeah, but the best clip was him flying through, missing that ball easily. One of the best clips from that dunk. Okay,
then the fake D Brown.
The fake D, he did it when he's on the ground. When you safely landed, you cover up.
That made me mad.
I wanted to say, I think he was hiding from the crowd. I think he dunked and he said, "Don't look at me."
He said, hey. I told y'all, man. I told y'all that man didn't need to be in no dunk contest.
And you know what Kenny said? He said, he's more creative than I thought. The whole room, the people that I was like, he's creative to you? And I had to slowly tell the room, I'm like, it's Jaylen Brown. This is more creative than we thought that he was going to be. So Jacob Toppin gets snubbed out of the finals. Jaime Jaquez doesn't do enough because he jumped over Shaq, but then Mac McClung proceeded to jump over Shaq later in these last two dunks. I can't even recall what were. So yeah, let's just get to the glove because Jaylen Brown's dunks were so lackluster. We really don't need to talk about him, and this is why guys that are superstars don't do the dunk competition because it's so easy to find ridicule in some of the stuff they do. This is a prime case of why LeBron never did the dunk competition because like of the level, like this man has $300 million. He's still going to get the slander from everybody. I called it the reparations dunk competition because somehow, some way he ended there. That last dunk with the left hand with the glove, Qualls, I don't know why he put the glove on. I didn't really understand. I didn't get a full explanation as to why. For one of his dunk, in the second dunk that he did at the competition, they didn't show it live. I forgot to say that. That's why I forgot one of his dunks because they're over here showing a fake Dominique Wilkins go like this at his dunk that we can't see. Like the whole thing was just crazy. For one of the dunk competitions, it was like definitely one of the most memorable, but for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that left-handed dunk. I think he was doing what I said. I think he was showing the haters like, hey, I got a left hand, and I put a glove on it. There's no other explanation to it. Ashley, like, do you have what was that? Like, what was the?
I thought we were going to get a Michael Jackson tribute. Like you said, Black History Month and everything. I seriously did. I thought maybe he was going to moonwalk into a dunk.
Because he has that video outside the car in the rain, right?
And I thought maybe like the LED court was going to show a video, something. Like, that's what I thought.
That would have been cool. That would have, if it would have the shimmy before the dunk, something. It was.
And y'all know he likes to produce. I think his producer name is like Jay Tobin or something like that. So I did. It is. Look it up. I really thought that he was gonna do something with music, Michael dancing. dunk.
I thought he was gonna start reading scripture. After the first ones, I was like, he's doing the Black History shit. He's gonna read us a gospel hymn with the white glove, and then he's gonna dunk for the Lord. He's gonna raise up for the Lord. I thought it was about to be like a final
Praise
call.
for the Lord is wild.
Dog, because it was really Qualls. I wish you would have seen it. It was like everything that I had thought that it would be from a Jaylen Brown dunk competition.
When you find Jay Tobin, please let me know.
Oh, hey, we have to play that for the intro music for everything we run over qualified this week. We got to have Jay Tobin produced.
Bro, so I'm not getting a solidified answer to this. But I swear.
We need it. We need it.
I'm about to look it up on the computer because I will drop it in the chat.
Because how does he even spell it? Oh, if he spells it, does he spell it Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, good Jesus.
How are you spelling it, Qualls?
I don't know.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown to release music album named Jay Tobin.
Wow. He's
We
really
gotta cut this off somewhere. These industries do not always need to intersect.
You know, hey man, hip hop is basketball. Basketball is hip hop. I was listening to Joel Santana. You know the one. You know the one that you would play before you go into a game in like 5th grade. It's one of the bells in it. The real hoopers know what I'm talking about. Joel Santana, with the black and white bandana on the album cover. That's all I need to say. Real hoopers know.
East
You said
Atlanta
the song with the bells?
The truth is coming. You should listen. Shouts out Joel Santana. That's gonna blow some people's ears off on the pod. But
Oh, Steve, it's JAYTHOVEN.
he's fancy. You knew he was gonna spell it like Jay Tobin. You knew. Come on now.
Put the link in the chat.
That I might need to share screen playing some Jay Tobin.
That's terrible. It's terrible is what it is.
So to encapsulate, that was the dunk competition. It would have been better if we had a Jay Tobin produced beat to listen to for 30 minutes because he really wasn't doing us much service in that dunk competition. Matt McClung did his thing, finished it up, jumped over Shaq. Finally, shouts out to the graphic designer that made that 50 on the court, that 50 design. I bet he was very upset that only got to be used once throughout the night. They said this is the last dunk. Could you judges please give him a 50? We paid a lot for that graphic. We paid entirely too much for that graphic and we haven't used it once. Could you please? So they reluctantly gave him a 50 for his 4th dunk that wasn't as good as any of his first 3. So that was the night. You didn't miss anything, Qualls. You missed entirely nothing.
This don't make no damn sense.
Jay Tobin. Yes.
Hey man.
Sorry for all those that can't see at home. It's been dropped in the chat. His SoundCloud link. Wow.
The man say.
Wow.
The man say. It's no secret that Boston Celtics forward Jaylen Brown recites his own rap song in his head to alleviate pregame jitters.
Ooh, that's cold.
Oh, man.
That's cold. That's tough. I have a newfound respect for Jay Tobin after today. This actually sheds a lot of light on who I didn't know Jaylen Brown was. Sunday night. This is the longest All-Star festivities ever. Like I feel right now discussing it. I'm just like hot. And so I'm like, when is this over? So then the second half of the All-Star game started. After I walked home sweaty, tired, defeated, discussing we could have boxed out more with Manny. It was, Dame was doing his thing, but this was like an incredibly lazy All-Star game. Like this was like
level lazy?
Like Shea, Ant didn't play second half. Bron didn't. Well, Bron's like 40, so we get
Bron,
that.
Yeah, that's different. But Ant didn't play the second half.
I came home. I'm like, I wanted to have some fun. That man wasn't doing jack diddly. Like, there was just some people on the court. Like, Shea was scoring. He scored like 23, but like outside of that, when guys went back on defense, it's like this is the worst. This was, I think, the worst All-Star game in terms of product that we had seen in a very long time. Like, outside of Dame stealing Halliburton's MVP in Indiana, and getting the swagger back fully. there was nothing. If you weren't a Bucks fan rooting for that man to get his swag back, there was nothing truly to root for. I don't think there was a moment that really caused my heart to flutter any or spark joy besides a half court three from Dan.
It was
Did
a
you see anything different?
Nope. Yeah. Lame.
Right? Like it was just like uninspired. Usually at least like it's a close game by the fourth and like they'll play good fake ball for the last minute and a half. But like it was just like, Cat was the only one really breaking a sweat. He's like, oh, this is boring. I'm about to dunk a bunch. Like, other than that, there was nothing.
Yeah. He had what, like 50?
Mm-hmm.
50.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Jaylen Brown walked into 39, uninspired. Halliburton was probably the most efficient, as usual. Like,
Does nobody have pride anymore?
No.
Y'all dudes, y'all
They
let
broke
No.
200 points.
50 and
They
39?
broke 200. They broke 200.
And Adam Silver sounded so disappointed. He said, well, congrats.
Hey, Adam Silver is pissed. He gonna figure something out.
The day before, he was just saying, yeah, I think we fixed competitiveness. And he had to go out and see that. He's like, yeah, no, we gotta do something. So I'm bad at surprises. I want to get my Miguel Monday out so bad because I sent it and it is about this. But there is one way that they could fix the All-Star game.
I don't think that's it, man.
You saw the Miguel Monday, you saw the preview, you don't think that's it. So all right, well, we'll just talk vaguely about it, but you'll have to watch the Miguel Monday to truly understand. You don't think that that's the answer?
No, because I don't think because nothing really raises the incentive. Like we're thinking about things that may make it more competitive, but they still need an incentive to be competitive. And I just don't think
that's enough of an incentive.
No.
And $1 million per person.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot.
I mean, All-Star game is driving some money in there. So, I mean, they might as well just be like, hey, man, like each winner gets $1 million here.
What you're asking of the players in this particular moment is just really tough. Like you're asking them to channel what they do during the season during a time where legitimately like this is their break.
It's their break.
This is their mid-semester break, bro. Like they are not worried. They got to go right back to practice probably tomorrow or Tuesday. Hell, the Bucks got a game, I think Thursday. No, they Friday. I hope they back in the gym today on Monday. Right, I hope they went back. But I don't know, man. I don't think being around the best players in the world is like gets people riled up for competition anymore. At least not because of how they've structured the weekend, which isn't an issue. It's just I don't know how you make it to where you kind of expect more fun and you're not disappointed by the lack of competition. I don't know what change incites that, but I think all the things we want to see definitely won't happen, but also probably wouldn't help either.
Sure. Oh, wait, I'm going to type it here just so you know what the question is. All right, there it is, if you can see it. Everything else, playoffs go, but then for that one, that's what it is.
Well, if I say this, then it gives it away, but another major league does do that. Like, is that right? Another major league does do that? Another major league did.
See, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if one does that. But
no, I know for sure one does.
Oh, for sure one does? Okay, boom.
Which league is?
Baseball.
Oh.
They do that.
Oh, that's how that's set up?
Yes. For uninclined, they still might not get it. So this might just make them go to Miguel Monday even more. So,
it's yeah. True. Okay, so yeah, baseball does it for the
interesting
marbles.
Interesting. Because at that point, like, yeah, you could assume that one of the players in the game will probably be in that situation, but who really gains from that? Like, what's the real
That
benefit?
that conference would, you know? So now it's like, okay, it's no matter
Mhm.
what happens, we make it, we got it.
Exactly. Yep.
So
Yep.
I think if I think if yeah, if what gets us to this final place, right? If that session of time that gets us to this final place, if you follow me, if that was as if it was more unpredictable than it currently is. Like sometimes you get some
fair.
surprises, but for the most part, there's a good idea of what should happen at least.
Yeah.
If it was more unpredictable, I think it would be worth it.
What do
But
you mean if, well, I know we can't, we're speaking in code.
But like if every year the Heat were to make it, like last year. Like we're
Uh,
thinking that unpredictable.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
so
And
like
we could talk in their face. And this is the first time ever in podcast history we're talking in code for the viewer to break down with a future clip. It's like a Marvel movie. Welcome.
Mm.
The qualified universe.
They show you the
hey
future and then
yo,
rewind to the past, and the whole movie is leading up
hey,
to
while we on the
Foreshadowing.
topic, so while we on the topic, so
Crazy.
two title ideas that came to mind in the midst of this episode. First, it was Hood All Star Weekend. That's what I was rolling with up until I heard the Qualified Universe.
The qualified universe is kind of crazy.
That's crazy. Yes.
Shouts out. Can you believe that it's the end?
No, not at all. Another great episodes in the book. By the time y'all see this, I think games will be back. So, of course, we'll be catching up on those. It's a home run stretch of the regular season. Things are about to get, hopefully, very, very interesting. So, we shall see. But until then, until next episode, we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.